This isn't a tip, it's a warning, because what I'm about to show you doesn't just sharpen your mind. It strips away what makes you normal. You'll start thinking 3 moves ahead. You'll stop trusting people and maybe start using them. This brain hack doesn't just make you powerful, it makes you dangerous. And once you cross that line, you don't come back the same.
Why overthinking is your secret weapon. Here's why. Have you ever felt like you think too much? That your mind spirals into corners most people avoid, diving deeper while others skim the surface? In a culture obsessed with quick takes, instant gratification, and superficial success, deep thinking feels like rebellion. But what if this rebellion is exactly what the world needs? What if your complex thoughts, your relentless questions, and your refusal to accept easy answers are not flaws, but signs that you are part of a lineage of thinkers who have shaped civilization itself? This video is for the ones who sit quietly in crowded rooms, watching, observing, feeling just slightly offbeat from the rhythm of everyone else. If you've ever wondered why you feel like an outsider, you're not broken, you just see more. And that's a gift. The nature of deep thinking. Deep thinking is not just about asking philosophical questions. It's a fundamental orientation to life. It means looking beyond appearances, questioning what others take for granted, and seeking patterns in chaos. Deep thinkers crave meaning. They reflect, analyze, and often challenge their own beliefs. It's a way of life that's more attuned to truth and comfort. This kind of thinking manifests in various ways. Philosophers like Descartes questioned existence itself. Scientists like Einstein imagined realities beyond what instruments could measure. Artists like Van Gogh painted internal landscapes that the world couldn't see until much later. These people weren't just curious. They were consumed by the desire to understand the deeper layers of reality. Society's response to deep thinkers. But society often doesn't reward such minds. In fact, it punishes them. Socrates was sentenced to death for corrupting the youth, or more accurately, for making people uncomfortable by questioning everything. Nietzsche was mocked and ignored during his lifetime. Emily Dickinson's poetry remained largely unpublished while she lived. Each of these figures saw the world through a different lens, and the world responded by rejecting them. This isn't just history. Even today, deep thinkers face isolation. You might be told you're too intense, that you overthink everything, or that you should just go with the flow. But those dismissals say more about others' discomfort than your value. In a society that thrives on consensus and conformity, thinking differently is threatening. And yet, it's precisely this kind of thinking that leads to progress. Societal conditioning plays a significant role in shaping our emotional responses, often leading to what can be termed emotional puppetry. This phenomenon occurs when individuals become overly accessible, allowing external influences to dictate their feelings and reactions. When we make ourselves constantly available to others, whether through social media, relationships, or societal expectations, we inadvertently diminish our personal power. This accessibility can create a sense of obligation to respond to others' needs and emotions, often at the expense of our own well-being. As a result, we may find ourselves reacting to situations based on what we believe others expect from us, rather than what we genuinely feel or desire. Emotional reactions are frequently triggered by external stimuli, such as comments from friends, family dynamics, or societal pressures. When we are conditioned to respond to these stimuli without critical thought, we become like marionettes, reacting instinctively rather than thoughtfully. This automatic response can lead to a cycle of emotional puppetry, where our feelings are dictated by the whims of others rather than our own inner compass. For instance, if someone is constantly seeking validation from peers, They may find themselves feeling elated or deflated, based solely on external feedback, rather than cultivating a stable sense of self-worth. The consequences of being predictable and moldable in relationships can be profound. When we allow ourselves to be shaped by the expectations of others, we risk losing our authenticity. This predictability can lead to a lack of depth in our connections, as relationships become more about fulfilling roles than genuine interactions. Friends and partners may come to expect certain reactions from us, which can create a dynamic where we feel trapped in a cycle of emotional performance. Over time, this can erode trust and intimacy, as the true self becomes obscured by the facade we present to the world. Ultimately, breaking free from societal conditioning and reclaiming our emotional autonomy is essential for fostering healthier, more authentic relationships and enhancing our personal power. Becoming unreachable is a powerful strategy for cultivating self-control and emotional resilience. It's essential to differentiate this concept from being cold or indifferent. While the latter often conveys a sense of detachment or lack of care, becoming unreachable is about establishing healthy boundaries and prioritizing one's emotional well-being. It involves choosing when to engage and when to step back, allowing individuals to maintain their personal power without shutting others out entirely. This approach fosters a sense of self-awareness and intentionality in our interactions, enabling us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Silence and an air of mystery can significantly enhance this strategy, creating intrigue and respect from others. When we choose to be less accessible, we invite curiosity about our thoughts and feelings, prompting others to engage with us on a deeper level. This sense of mystery can be empowering, as it encourages people to approach us with more consideration and respect. Rather than being an open book, we become a captivating narrative that others want to explore, which can lead to more meaningful connections. By not revealing everything about ourselves, we maintain an element of control over how we are perceived and interacted with, allowing us to shape our relationships in a way that aligns with our values. Moreover, it is crucial to emphasize the importance of not reacting to every provocation. In a world filled with constant stimuli and emotional triggers, the ability to pause and reflect before responding is a hallmark of emotional maturity. When we refrain from reacting impulsively, we create space for thoughtful responses that reflect our true feelings and intentions. This practice not only protects our emotional state, but also demonstrates to others that we are in control of our reactions. By choosing when to engage and when to remain silent, we assert our boundaries and reinforce our self-worth. Ultimately, becoming unreachable is not about isolation. It's about empowering ourselves to navigate our emotional landscape with intention, fostering healthier relationships, and enhancing our overall sense of self. Detachment and the ability to let go of unhealthy relationships are crucial for personal growth and emotional well-being. It's essential to encourage viewers to release commitments that drain their energy, as these connections can often lead to feelings of resentment, fatigue, and emotional turmoil. When we cling to relationships that no longer serve us, we hinder our ability to thrive and pursue our passions. Recognizing when a relationship is unhealthy is the first step toward liberation. It allows us to prioritize our mental and emotional health, paving the way for more fulfilling connections. Letting go of the need for validation is another significant aspect of this journey. Many individuals find themselves trapped in a cycle of seeking approval from others, which can be exhausting and detrimental to self-esteem. The liberation that comes from releasing this need is profound. It empowers us to embrace our true selves without the constant pressure to conform to others' expectations. When we no longer seek validation from external sources, we cultivate a stronger sense of self-worth that is rooted in our own values and beliefs. This shift not only enhances our emotional resilience, but also allows us to engage in relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than dependency. The isolation of insight. With insight comes solitude. There's a kind of loneliness that only comes from seeing what others don't or won't. When you perceive layers in a conversation that others overlook, when a seemingly trivial event sparks a philosophical avalanche in your mind, it can feel like you're living in a different reality. But isolation isn't inherently bad. In fact, many deep thinkers learn to embrace solitude. It becomes a sacred space, a laboratory for the mind. Kierkegaard wrote in isolation. Virginia Woolf cherished her room of one's own. Solitude allows thought to deepen, unhindered by the noise of the world. Still, solitude isn't the same as loneliness. The key is finding or creating connections with others who understand your wavelength. Those rare souls who don't fear the depths, but dive willingly. The power of questioning. Deep thinkers question everything. Not to be contrarian, but because they see that beneath every assumption lies a complexity worth exploring. Why do we work the way we do? What is success, really? Is morality universal, or is it a social construct? These questions unsettle the status quo, and that's the point. Every major paradigm shift in history began with a question. Galileo questioned geocentrism. Darwin questioned the fixed nature of species. Simone de Beauvoir questioned gender roles. Questioning is a tool, a spark, a gateway to new understanding. But it takes courage. Questions can lead to uncertainty, and society doesn't like uncertainty. It wants answers, fast, clean, simple. Deep thinkers resist this demand. They live in the gray areas. Embracing the outsider within it takes strength to embrace being an outsider. It means rejecting the comforting illusion of fitting in for the discomforting truth of being real. Deep thinkers often play the role of the observer, never fully part of any group, always slightly detached. But this detachment is not a weakness. It grants perspective. Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. If you feel disjointed from the mainstream, perhaps it's not you that's misaligned. It's the mainstream itself. Accept your differentness. Stop apologizing for it. Use it. Your mind is a compass, pointing not to what's popular, but to what's true." The role of deep thinkers in progress. Every major leap in human understanding has been born from discomfort. Often the discomfort of a single person asking hard questions in a world that wanted easy answers. Copernicus challenged the church's view of the cosmos. James Baldwin confronted racial hypocrisy with unflinching honesty. Hannah Arendt dissected the banality of evil in a world still in shock from World War II. These thinkers didn't just understand the world differently, they changed it. And not by yelling the loudest, but by thinking the deepest. They were not celebrated right away. But time has a way of vindicating those who seek truth. Cultivating deep thought. Deep thinking isn't just a trait, it's a practice. It requires intention. In a noisy world, you must create silence. In a distracted culture, you must cultivate focus. Read slowly, write often, reflect deeply. Engage with thinkers from different eras and perspectives. Philosophy isn't just what dead white men wrote. It's what lives in every mind brave enough to ask why and keep going even when the answers are unclear. Meditate. Walk without your phone. Let ideas simmer. Let contradictions breathe. Don't rush to resolve complexity. Sometimes insight lives in the tension. The community of thinkers. Even though deep thinking often begins in solitude, it thrives in conversation. And while it may feel like you're alone in your contemplations, there is a quiet, global community of thinkers who feel exactly like you. Online forums, discussion groups, books, and channels like this one become havens, places where minds meet and ideas grow. Here, the question, why, is not dismissed. It's welcomed. Here, you are not too much. You are exactly enough. Find your tribe, or build it. You don't need many, just a few who resonate. Conclusion. So if you've ever felt like an outsider for your thoughts, remember this. You are not alone. Society may fear deep thinkers, but it is deep thinkers who push humanity forward. Your mind is not a curse, it's a compass. And even if the world doesn't understand you now, it may one day thank you. If this video resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever faced rejection for thinking deeply? Let's start a conversation. And if you want to explore more insights from history's greatest minds, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started.